when we sat down to decide how we were going, to do the album and where and what and all of those questions, when we landed on we're gonna do it live, we're gonna do it here in this room, we're gonna invite alumni, there was such a joy. Do you remember? There was a joy that flooded, and we were like, oh, it's harvest time. It's time to harvest what we have spent over 20 years sowing into the soil, sowing into hearts, sowing into a generation, not just young adults, but all ages, teenagers and people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. It's time to harvest. And I think that expectation, and that pillar for us, that you live in the day, you measure in the decade, it was just oh my gosh, it's go time. It's time to harvest what we've been stewarding. And deciding to do a live album, we knew that we were going to have a lot of moments. We spread it out over 3 days because we wanted to take our time. We only did 3 or 4 songs a night because we wanted to chase the moments. And those moments require a tremendous amount of trust with your musicians. And to have all of those people in the room. I mean, half the band was alumni, which felt fitting to the whole, having alumni in the room. And then Al Sergel played drums, which we've always, had just such a love and an affection for him. And to have Al drumming for us, it was incredible. And obviously Molly and Luke and Jake have been tracking with us for over a decade. All of them have poured their heart and soul out, and Cassie has just been the dearest friend to us. And JP did our school,
2014.
2014. And then having David play on it too was just incredible. And so we set up in the round because we wanted to look at each other.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't necessarily just about leading the people, it was about being together.
That's right.
Let's make an offering to God together.
That's right.
Let's look at each other in the eyes. We're not here to perform for anyone. We're here to make an offering unto Jesus. And it was just beautiful to just look at each other. And when we knew we had just hit this amazing moment, you look up and you smile and you're like, we're never going to get that moment.
That's right.
That was special. And so for us, I think trust is always really a forefront of conversation. Who can we be in those moments with that we really trust, that they trust us and we trust them, that we can chase God together?
Yeah, I kept seeing too, in the scripture you have the Ark of the Presence, and the priest would carry the Ark. And it wasn't just one priest carrying the Ark, but it was a family around this carrying it, and they had to carry it with humble confidence.
Yeah.
With some of these musicians, we have decades with them. And one of the pre-productions I looked, and 3 of the men that have done our school, they came here, some of them almost as boys, 17-year-olds, and they've become men on this land. Yeah. And when they stepped up to play this album, all 3 of them are fathers now. And the place that they stood, the spiritual authority that they stood in when they played as fathers. Yeah. And I think that would be the thing with this record. I feel like we couldn't carry this album by ourselves. And we needed brothers and sisters around us to pick up with humble confidence this presence of the Lord, the weight of His presence in these songs. Right. We are standing as oaks of righteousness on this record. I know we've spent 14 years pouring into the next generation, and I feel that beautiful authority.
Yes.
In the same way, we had oaks stand in front of us and teach us who God is. We're getting to do to a generation what Don and Susie and Leonard and Kevin did for us, we're getting to do for the next generation.
Yeah. And even coming back to a project, we haven't done one in 6 years. So even for some of the musicians that have tracked with us a long time, they really came with a renewed vision.
That's right. What
is God doing right now? And how can we serve Jonathan and Melissa's, the song of their heart right now? And then as we got deeper into it, it became so apparent it wasn't just our song. It was all of our songs.
That's right.
It was our community's voice. It was our staff's voice. It wasn't just our love for a generation. It was, Jake's love for a generation that he's been serving faithfully here for over 10 years. It was Molly's love and Luke. And it was just it became so clear the deeper we got into the waters of it all that we were all in it together, and it wasn't just the harvest of our life, it was the harvest of all of our lives. And that's a really, really special thing, to be able to look around and we're all just like, we can't believe this is happening. Like, God is showing up. And I mean, when we got to that first moment of looking around the room and there was 14 years represented, I'm like, man, this is like, there's no greater reward for us than to see the faces of the people that we've loved so hard over such a long period of time, and to be able to like make this offering with them was so sacred.
Right.
And to like,
Right.
everyone brought their testimony of Jesus on this land to the album recording, and it was very sacred, to
Yeah.
say the least. Like, and everyone felt it. It was just like, we kept saying, thank you so much for coming, and they're like, thank you for letting us be in the room.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is like, you know, just so many testimonies. And I think my prayer is that what people hear is that overcoming spirit, because that is like, it is the spirit of the testimony of our lives walked out in authentic love for the Lord, in the really high highs and the really low lows. And it was the truest offering that we could have made.
Yeah.